Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Real Packers Talk, the podcast dedicated to everything green and gold. I am your host, Ethan Peltier, and on today's episode, I just wanted to give my preview of the Week 3 preseason matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs. This will be the final preseason game before the regular season starts. With that, I guess before I get into it, I want to preface it by saying that a report came out earlier this week from Rob Demoski. According to Matt LaFleur, there will be relatively few, if any, starters playing in this Week 3 matchup. And the reason for that, obviously, is to avoid injury, as well as to keep the starters as well rested as possible before Week 1. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to take a look at both sides of the ball, both offense and defense, and basically just take a couple of players that I think are going to be key players or players that I'm going to just be keeping an eye on. Starting with offense, my first key player to watch is Jordan Love. Surprise! Just kidding, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. This is obviously going to be the last time that we're going to take a good look at him for a while, barring that there aren't any injuries. He had a good performance last week, and I'd like to see him build off of that. He looked very confident. I thought he had his best performance as a Green Bay Packer. And again, we don't really know what's going to happen with him after this season. Are we going to pick up his fifth-year option? What's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? No one really knows right now. I'm hoping to see one last solid performance as a nice little cherry on top to what's been, I'd say, a fairly solid training camp / preseason for Jordan Love. Moving down the list, I have Christian Watson in parentheses, assuming that he does play. This would be the first time that we get to take a look at him in game action, which I'm sure all Packers fans are dying to see. Obviously, we've seen some flashes from Romeo Doubs and Amari Rodgers. It would be nice to see another young guy in Christian Watson come out and make some plays. Other than that, I have Tyler Goodson, who I think could make this roster as the third-string running back ahead of Dexter Williams and Patrick Taylor. Kylan Hill was placed on PUP earlier this week, which is something I'll touch on later. And then the last person that I have on this list is Tyler Davis, who I know a lot of people are high on. He's had a couple of really rough preseason games. He had the dropped pass that led to an interception in the first preseason game against the 49ers, and then he had a fumble against the Saints in this last preseason game. So, I know a lot of people are high on him. I'm high on him. I hope he is able to clean up those mistakes and have a solid performance. Moving on over to the defensive side of the ball, rather than one player, I actually have a whole position group highlighted, which is going to be our edge rushers. I guess you could throw out Kingsley Enagbare, who, as I highlighted in last episode, he had a good performance against the Saints. But as far as the edge position goes, I will be paying close attention to the depth as the game goes on against the Chiefs this week. Aside from that, I have Micah Abernathy highlighted, who had a solid performance against the Saints. He had an interception, so definitely going to be paying close attention to him. Now moving on to special teams, what I have here in my notes is kickoff team. That is what I will be paying very close attention to. It looked a little sloppy against the Saints. A couple of bad pursuit angles, as well as just people getting out of their lanes, that kind of stuff. So hopefully they can clean that up. Also, we'll be keeping an eye on Amari Rodgers because he'll probably be doing punt returns and things of that nature. Now, as far as I would like to structure these episodes moving forward, I do plan on having sort of a preview episode before each game each week, or at least I'm going to try to. And in those, I'll probably do like a final score prediction as well as something similar as what I just did with highlighting different players that I'm going to be keeping an eye on and stuff like that. Because this is a preseason game, the final score doesn't really matter too much, so I'm not going to be doing a score prediction. I do want to say that I personally love preseason. This is a wonderful opportunity for a lot of these football players to showcase their skills and try to earn roster spots. and I love seeing the competitive nature of it all. I feel like preseason is way more competitive than people give it credit for. That being said, I am also very ready for the regular season to start. That's all I had as far as the game preview for this week goes. But before I end the episode, I did want to take a look at some news that came out from practice and training camp this week. First on this list of news, Rob Demovsky reports that offensive lineman Cole Van Lanen has been traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 7th round pick. Lanen was a 6th round pick from the 2021 draft, and he was a Green Bay native. He grew up in Wisconsin, went to play for the Badgers, and then got drafted by the Packers, which is pretty cool, but it is a business, and at the end of the day, it is sad to see him leave, and I do wish him the best of luck in Jacksonville. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned briefly that Kylan Hill was placed on PUP, meaning that he will likely miss the first month of the season, the first 4 games, and then from there they can choose to bring him back and figure it out from there. Additionally, safety Vernon Scott has been waived due to injury, although if he does clear waivers, I believe that he can return to the team. So I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen with that, so we'll see. Other than that, I don't really have much for y'all. I will have a 53-man roster prediction coming out here soon before the actual roster cuts, I believe next Tuesday. So look forward to that. And then I will have another probably brief reaction/analysis episode coming out tomorrow after the game. With that, I want to say thank you again for tuning into today's episode. You can find my podcast anywhere on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, or SoundCloud. Please feel free to like, comment, and share, as well as subscribe to the podcast for future Packers updates and news. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And with that, I will leave y'all with a Go Pack Go. Peace.